The term marine radio naturally leads the imagination towards coastal areas such as ports, harbours and the various marine VHF stations located around the country's coastlines. But you can actually listen to marine radio inland, and in this video I'll show you some examples of what you can see and hear and what equipment you can use. Now, things tend to vary depending on your location. I'm situated just outside Manchester in the northwest of the country, over 40 miles away from the coast, but there's still plenty of marine radio traffic to be heard. First of all, we're lucky enough here to have the Manchester Ship Canal, which I've covered in another video. Its 35-mile length is dotted with ports which are still serviced by large cargo vessels on what in recent months feels like a daily basis. These ships can be heard talking to Eastham Lock, which guards the entrance to the canal just outside Liverpool, and as they travel along their way there are numerous radio transmissions back and forth which can be heard. Now, I've been playing recently with the new Retevis RM40 marine handheld to listen in onto some inland marine broadcasts, which I've recorded to share with you. The ships you'll see are actually docked virtually in central Manchester at various business ports to which they've been assigned to visit.
Arklow Cadet.
Good morning, Ed.
Good morning, Paul. We're ready at Solar Star now for departure. Max draft is 4.2 metres, 4.2. Air draft is 21.2 to 1.2 metres. 7 crew plus myself on board and no defects.
That's all received. Thanks, Ed. No traffic in that section. No sluicing either at the moment. We will have the Arklow ready for you to meet a bit later. She's just past standby a couple of minutes.
Thank you, that's great. I'll give you a shout when we're off the berth.
Eastham, Arklow Cadet. We're just near enough bottom level at Earlham Locks. What time's first lock, please, at Eastham?
First lock is 12 o'clock. It's a little bit before, but say 12 o'clock.
Okay, that's great, thanks. Are we clear to go once the gates are open?
Vital Eastham. Sorry, my bit broken there. Are you all fast in the sluiceway, was it, over?
Yeah, that's right, Hugh, just in the extension.
In the small lock entrance. Yeah, no problem at all, Mike. Yeah, that's all received. Thanks, mate. Good night. Vital Eastham.
Yeah, it's a Vital, that is all fast in the small lock entrance at Earlham, Hugh.
Another transmission that can be heard far inland are maritime safety information broadcasts. These used to originate from Liverpool Coast Guard until around 2015 when they were amalgamated into Holyhead Coast Guard on the Isle of Anglesey. These are broadcast every day at set intervals as a service for vessels within the region.
Here is a maritime safety information broadcast, including the inshore waters forecast. Inshore waters forecast to 12 miles offshore, issued by the Met Office at 1100 UTC. General situation. A ridge of high pressure will move eastwards on Wednesday, before further Atlantic weather fronts move eastwards later on Wednesday and during Thursday. Great Orme head to the Mull of Galloway with a strong wind warning. 24-hour forecast. Northerly or northwesterly 4 or 5, occasionally 6 in west. Becoming variable 3 or less later. Slight or moderate showers until later. Good. Outlook for the following 24 hours. Variable 3 or less. Becoming southerly 5 to 7.
You can also regularly hear these Coast Guard stations conducting rescue missions on a daily basis from far inland. Now, I do need to point out that the clips I've played were received using an external antenna, and it's hard to hear coastal vessels from inland due to their distance away and their low altitude, but they still can be heard from time to time. So that is a quick look at what you can expect to hear on the marine band inland. It's not just limited to those who live on the coast. So let's look in a bit more detail at the Retevis RM40. I showed you the RT55 a couple of years ago, and the RM40 is a massively improved version which is really comparable to marine radios by other big manufacturers. It has some really big features that the RT50 didn't have, such as built-in GPS, built-in DSC or digital selective calling, and man overboard function. The radio is IPX7 waterproof. IPX7 means that the device has level 7 water sealing. It obviously floats and is extremely light. The RM40 has a vibration water draining function for clearing the speaker after being submersed, and also flashes if dropped in water so it can be easily found, and the radio can detect if it's been dropped in water. A major feature on this radio is the distress button, known as DSC. It stands for Digital Selective Calling, and it allows modern marine VHF radios to send an automated mayday that alerts the Coast Guard and other vessels to an emergency situation. The button is pre-programmed with information about your boat, so that in the event of a life-threatening situation, you can send an effective mayday distress call while you're busy with other tasks. When you flip up the plastic shield on the back of the radio and press the DSC distress button for a few seconds, the radio will broadcast an alarm and your boat information to other vessels and authorities within 4 or 5 miles of your location. If the radio has a built-in GPS unit like the RM40 does, your position will also appear on any receiving radio's display. After sending a DSC distress call, the radio will stand by for acknowledgement on channel 70 and also receive calls on channel 16. If an acknowledgement is received, you should select channel 16 and advise the caller of your emergency situation. The RM40's display will show the name of the ship responding, and if no acknowledgement is received, the DSC alert is repeated every few minutes. Now, none of this works unless you program an MMSI number or Maritime Mobile Service Identity into your radio beforehand. Registration is free online, and you'll need to enter your boat information, home port information, and owner and emergency contact details, and this information is unique to your MMSI. You then enter this number into your VHF radio, and it's as simple as that. You can configure many functions in the menu, such as GPS on or off. I've switched mine off, but it does work when on and is extremely accurate. You can also set up scan settings or dual or tri-channel watch for monitoring multiple channels at the same time. The radio also covers USA, international and Canadian marine channels. If you're in the USA, the radio will also receive weather channels. On the left hand side of the radio is the rubber PTT, which is water sealed, and you can also see a waterproof gasket around the radio to protect its internal components. On the front is the backlit LCD screen and keypad, and on the top is the antenna and speaker mic jack. The radio comes with a charger base and power adapters for both mains and 12 volt power, as well as a belt clip and wrist strap and large 1100 mAh battery pack which clips onto the back of the radio. So that is a look at the new Retevis RM40 marine radio, and hopefully it's given you some ideas for listening to marine frequencies both on the coast and inland. Now, I have to point out that transmitting on a marine radio without a licence is strictly illegal, and like air traffic frequencies, the marine band is monitored for interference, which could hinder or affect a rescue operation. And finally, if you'd like to look at the RM40 in more detail, I'll put a link in the description below.